Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? So if we can please get seated and please leave this center aisle open, that would be very helpful. Whew. Been a long time coming, but we're here. Christopher. All right. Good morning, everybody. What a beautiful day in the Berkshires. Or as I like to say, Western Mass. This has been a long time coming, but before we get started, there's some elected officials that I want to include who have been extremely helpful to us in this process. Sheriff Tom Bowler is here, Senator Paul Mark, Representative Lee Davis, Representative Farley Bouvier, and Pittsfield Mayor Peter Marchetti. Thank you all very much for being here today. I also think we have, if not all, most of the Lennox Board of Selectmen, so thank you very much for giving us permission to use this location. So to kick things off, the Adams Buds Color Guard from Housatonic is going to enter down here. We're going to line up here. Race Cater, a great young man from a wonderful family here in Lennox, is going to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if I could ask you to stand, remove your caps. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem, and then we'll get this party started. So thank you all very much for being here. To the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Don't you love that trumpet? Jeff Stevens was the music director at Berkshire Hills Regional High School, and several years ago when I was a state representative, he brought a group to the State House. And as my colleagues or former colleagues in the State House know, that the State House is not the greatest acoustical place to perform music. But his group of students under his leadership, I've never in my life, in my 22 years in the legislature, saw offices emptying out to see what was going on so special. So Jeff Stevens, thank you so much for being here today with your great work. I played the trumpet for 12 years myself when I was younger, and believe me, you wanted Jeff Stevens here today. I'd now like to have Rabbi Barbara Cohen and Monsignor John Bonzani both come up here to do an opening prayer.
I just want to begin by saying if there's one thing in this divided world that we can agree upon, that is that we all wish for an end to war and hope that our Department of Defense doesn't become the Department of War, it becomes the Department of Peace. Thank you. Another thing is I'm looking out across this group and seeing so many people of a similar age. We all remember how exciting it was, starting in the earliest memories of elementary school, what it meant for us to get a gold star on a paper, on a quiz, on a math test, for good behavior, for attendance. And it meant that we were being recognized for service to our education. And now it is that the gold star that we are recognizing today is the one that we also elevate the commitment and the hard work and all of the good that the people that so many of you are here remembering today. It's the gold star that the dead do not get to see. I'd like to read a poem. It's by a woman named Zelda, and it's entitled, Each of Us Has a Name. Each of us has a name given by God and given by our parents. Each of us has a name given by our stature and our smile and given by what we wear. Each of us has a name given by the mountains and given by our walls. Each of us has a name given by the stars and given by our neighbors. Each of us has a name given by our sins and given by our longing. Each of us has a name given by our enemies and given by our love. Each of us has a name given by our celebrations and given by our work. Each of us has a name given by the seasons and given by our blindness. Each of us has a name given by the sea and given by our death. And may the memories of all of those who are being remembered today be honored for what they did for us, whether they joined, whether they were drafted, whether they rushed, or whether they hesitated to do service to their country. We all appreciate it. We're all here under this flag, and may that flag really represent what it meant to represent in the days to come. Amen.
Almighty God, giver of life and source of all hope, we gather here in reverent gratitude to dedicate this monument in honor of our Gold Star families. Those who were born had borne the greatest cost for them, the freedom of peace that we enjoy. Bless this sacred space as a perpetual reminder of the sons, daughters, spouses, and loved ones who gave their lives in service to our nation, and of the families who carry their memory in their hearts each day. We ask you to pour out your comfort upon every Gold Star family member. In their sorrow, grant your peace. In their longing, grant your hope. Where loss is keen, fill the spaces with your loving presence. Let them know that they are not alone, that their sacrifice is honored and cherished by all who gather here. May this monument be a sign that we remember, that we care, and that we stand together, upholding one another in faith and mutual support. Make holy this memorial, Lord, as a place of healing, remembrance, and unity. May it inspire all who pause here to live lives of service and gratitude. And may the legacy of the fallen guide us to work for justice, peace, and the common good. Bless our nation, protect our defenders. Grant rest to the souls of all who have gone before us in the cause of liberty. We ask this in your holy name.
Please be seated. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Monsignor. A couple of years ago, I was in Fall River, Massachusetts, visiting a Veterans Memorial Park. I've never seen a Veterans Memorial Park like this in my life. I was really taken back by a very large scaled version of the Vietnam Wall, a very large scaled version of the Marine Corps Memorial raising the flag at Iwo Jima. There was individual memorials for soldiers or 9/11, but there was one memorial that really caught my attention, and I walked over to see what it was really all about, and it was a Gold Star Family Memorial. I had never seen one before in my life, and I said, we need to bring one to Berkshire County. So in my craziness, nights and weekends, I visited every single community in Berkshire County. I took names off of plaques and memorials, worked with some of the veterans agents, and then I was introduced to a young man from Housatonic named Rob Bogart. I think Rob is here today. Please stand up, Rob. Rob did a deep dive to confirm all the names that I had seen. He cross-referenced them with state and federal databases, and we discovered nearly 600 names from Berkshire County. Gold Stars came into play during World War I. So we think of the Berkshires as a small, quaint little place, towns of 400 people to a city of 40,000 people, but 600 families sacrificed a loved one for our freedoms. And I said, we're going to keep going here. Then I contacted my friends at Hill Engineering, who have been very supportive of me personally and professionally for a long time. And we were just brainstorming a little bit. And they said, do you have a committee? I said, I need a committee. I cannot do this by myself. And I would like to introduce the committee, and please stand when you're called, and please remain standing, because I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to get us to today. Brigadier General retired from the Massachusetts Air National Guard, Marie Field. It clearly wasn't the Air National Guard nearly 400 years ago, but General Marie Field is the first female in the history to achieve that rank of Brigadier General. And Marie and I and her late husband, Terry, we worked on veterans projects throughout our time in public office, and I appreciate all of your help there, Marie. Rick Fiore. Had an uncle that served in the Navy in World War II, came home safely, rejoined the Army in Korea. Sadly, Rick is a Gold Star family from Korea. Ricky, I appreciate all of your help throughout this process as well. Bob Coakley. Bob Coakley lost a brother in Vietnam. He was shot. He had a very prestigious job in the White House under President Lyndon Johnson, but wanted to go back to Vietnam to be with his guys. He went back to Vietnam, his plane was shot down, and was considered missing in action for 23 years before his remains were found. And I always remember Bob's mother telling my father when they brought the remains home, he's finally home where he belongs, back in the Berkshires. Bobby lost a grandson during the Afghanistan war as well. That's a two-time, back-to-back, you don't want to win. But a Gold Star family for Vietnam and Afghanistan. Bobby, you've always been my go-to guy on these veterans projects, and I appreciate all of your help as well. And sadly, Alan North. Alan North was a Vietnam veteran, a Gold Star family losing 2 uncles in World War II. The bridge up in North Lenox is named after, it's the North Brother Bridge. And I have this vivid memory of making my first communion at St. Anne's Church and going from there to dedicate the North Brother Bridge. Sadly, I loved my conversations with Alan as we were preparing for this event here today. Sadly, Alan passed away earlier this year and is not able to be here, obviously. But his son, Chris, is here representing the family. Chris, please stand up and say thank you to you and your family and your father for being such a help to be here today. So now, we're going to cut a ribbon. And I would love to have the Lieutenant Governor, Congressman Neal, you guys can sit down now. Brigadier General John Driscoll. Thank you. If you want to cover those up after. Oh, we're going to do it right up here, guys. And then there's one other person that this project would not have been possible without his support. I would text him on a Saturday night, a Sunday morning, a Wednesday afternoon, and he always responded to me. We brainstormed. He calmed me down when I was getting a little rambunctious, and I calmed him down when he was getting a little rambunctious about the timeline of this thing, because we received our first donation in December of last year. And look at us today, September 20th. We're unveiling this beautiful memorial. And that person is my good friend Vin Magnano. Vinny, I want you up here to help us cut this ribbon. From Hill Engineering, these guys have been fantastic to me for a long time. Over here. And Project 351, these volunteers today, they are a statewide organization started by Governor Deval Patrick 15 years ago. They don't get any money from the state, which we need to work on that, Lieutenant Governor. Strictly volunteer donations and volunteer basis, but what they do is they take 8th graders. Project 351 represents 351 cities and towns of Massachusetts. Every community, every school district has an opportunity to nominate someone that will be an ambassador. And I'm a great believer that if we expose young people to service, it becomes habitual. It becomes a lifelong journey of service. These young people have been here, they got here at 8 o'clock this morning, helping us set up the chairs, put the names on the places, the roses for all the Gold Star families. They're going to play a key role in the unveiling of this thing. So on the count of 3, I would love to say 1, 2, 3, thank you, Gold Star families. We'll cut the ribbon and we'll show you what we've been working on for almost 10 months now. So 1, 2, 3, thank you, Gold Star families. Coming up next. Isn't that beautiful? No, that's yours. You keep those.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. No, that's for you. Isn't that beautiful? I'd like to thank Steve Brewer from Savino Empire Memorials as well for all of his work on this, saying Rich Atwood from Housatonic. I really wanted to make this a Berkshire County project, and it has turned out to be just that. I'm just overwhelmed by the support that we've received from people who donated money, donated time, donated services, from Adams, Beckett, Cheshire, Dalton, Great Barrington, Hinsdale, Housatonic, Lee, Lennox, Lanesboro, New Marlboro, North Adams, Pittsfield, Peru, Savoy, Stockbridge, Tyringham, West Stockbridge, and Sheffield, just to name most of Berkshire County, and even from outside of Berkshire County, Nashua, New Hampshire, Boston, Springfield, Salem, Middlefield, New York City, and even support from a lifelong friend of mine who lives in Phoenix, Arizona. This is really a community project that I'm extremely proud of. That center panel, I view that as home. We purposely had the side panels at a slight angle. I view that as the Gold Star families are in the middle, and the arms are the Berkshires reaching out to embrace you, to say thank you. I always feel that when a soldier dies, we have very special funerals. We name bridges or highways or parks or put their names on a plaque. But then when the funeral's over, the families go home. I hope you look at this place as a very solemn place, that your Berkshire family and friends support you and love you very much. When we were putting in a memorial in a couple weeks ago, there's a weird feeling that comes over me on these special events. The traffic went silent. The cars are still driving by, but the noise went away. And I hope that all the Gold Star families that are here today, and can I have you please stand up? I think we have almost 80 Gold Star families. Can we have all the Gold Star families please rise? Brigadier General Driscoll, can I have you join me up front here? Come over on this side if you don't mind. I'm going to ask a few people, our committee and our dignitaries, to place a flag from left to right to honor all of our soldiers who have passed away. General Field. I would love to have Monsignor Banzani join us. One of the last people to die in World War I was Father William F. Davitt from St. Anne's Church right here in Lennox. So we have a World War I marker as well. Christopher, on behalf of your family, your dad, a Vietnam veteran, and two great uncles to you, the North Brothers. We have World War II. Rick Fiore, Gold Star family, Korea. Bob Coakley, Gold Star family, Vietnam and Afghanistan, but we have a Vietnam placard here for you. Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, honoring all the folks who passed during the Persian Gulf War. Congressman Richard Neal. All the folks from Afghanistan. And Brigadier General Driscoll, I'd love to have you do the last one, honoring all of our fallen soldiers. Thank you. At this time, I would like to have Lieutenant Governor Driscoll come here and say a few words. I was so excited when she was able to squeeze us into her crazy schedule. Being a lieutenant governor in a state this large is very difficult, from Pittsfield to Provincetown and everywhere in between, but she's a Navy brat herself. Her father served in the military for many, many years, and you know, when it came time to talk to the administration, I think nobody could understand it better. But what she's done in tag team with Governor Healy, we probably have the best support for veterans in the entire country because of the leadership of this current administration. So, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. What an honor and a privilege to be here on behalf of our entire administration and Commonwealth. I want to recognize Congressman Neal, who is certainly a strong partner for all of us, representing us in D.C. Brigadier General John Driscoll, no relation. I would be very lucky, though, if that were true. And members of our legislative delegation. So much of what we're able to do as an administration is tied to the strong partnership we have with members of the legislature, including Representative Davis, Representative Farley Bouvier, Senator Paul Mark. And I certainly, as a former local official, former mayor in Salem, I really want to recognize our local officials as well. Town Manager Jay Green, Mayor Marchetti from Pittsfield. I think Mayor Maxey from North Adams was also scheduled to be here. And just want to recognize the folks at the local level. Oftentimes our veteran service officers, the delivery of veteran services is happening at the local level, and I really appreciate the work that's here from our elected local officials as well. And thank you, Smitty, for your incredible work putting this together. You know, really. We're coming onto a big year for the country in 2026, celebrating our 250th anniversary of American democracy. But for those of us from Massachusetts, we actually started 2 years ago with the ultimate disruptors of throwing the tea in the harbor, our 2-year anniversary last year. And this year, many of us are out on that Lexington Green and that bridge in Concord at 5:30 in the morning. Anybody else out there? Anybody? Just me? Okay, thank you, General Driscoll. Right, we're better patriots than everybody else. But why that's so critical is when you think about what happened 250 years ago in those very special places. They were average, ordinary individuals, farmers and shopkeepers and laborers, who decided they didn't want to be subjects. They wanted to be citizens. They were fighting for something they never could have imagined at the time: democratic principles, fundamental freedoms, self-governance. They didn't know where it would end, but they believed in the power of collective action for that to happen. And it does take individuals coming together, whether it's the formation of a memorial and a monument or the formation of a country. And so I want to recognize the individuals who have brought us here together, small acts individually of support that has put us in this special place this morning. And certainly to the military service members, the veterans, and our Gold Star families. Thank you for being here today. And on behalf of Governor Healy and myself, thank you for your service and your sacrifice for our nation. If there's anything I learned from being a military daughter, it's that in the military you don't serve alone. A whole family makes that commitment with you. I think about my father and his 20+ years of service in the Navy and the way it shaped my life. We always have been and always will be a Navy family. And with all that entails, moving frequently, following the call of service, working hard with discipline and dedication that was modeled for us and expected of us. And today, we're here to honor those very stories. We're honoring the legacy of nearly 600 families who have lost loved ones in defense of our nation. We're honoring the people who supported our military members as they served, and as the plaque here says, the Berkshire families who sacrificed a loved one for our liberties and our freedom. This is only the second Gold Star Memorial in Massachusetts. Only the second one. And we're thankful to everyone who advocated to get this done. And we're going to have more of them, because it's important that we come together, now more than ever, when there's so much dissension and acrimony. These are the things that unite us. You know, it's not always easy to be part of a military family, as many here understand, but personally, I'm forever grateful for the lessons it taught me. And if we look around in our communities and look at the memorial honors, the lessons that veterans teach us are everywhere. They teach us what a privilege it is to be in public service, the value of hard work and perseverance, the accomplishments that come from collective action of different people from different backgrounds, representing very different viewpoints and perspective, but united in defense of our country. It's an honor to dedicate your life to this nation. People who serve understand that. And we are a nation founded on the idea of freedom, and will continue to honor those who stand up for those values every single day. And most assuredly, our Gold Star families, whose loved ones have made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of this nation. Thank you for having me here today. Thank you for the work that we are honoring on behalf of your families. I'm so grateful and privileged to be in this position and to be able to stand on the shoulders of others who came before, who made it possible for us to stand up for our freedoms, to be able to support and celebrate the sacrifices that you made in defense of a better place. I want you to know it mattered as we stand here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Governor, very much for being here. I've seen in the distance, Representative John Barrett is here. Thank you very much for being here, Representative Barrett. I didn't see Mayor Maxey, but if she's here, thank you very much. I believe in reincarnation, and when I get reincarnated, I'm going to come back as a school teacher, and I'm going to teach one class. And the one class is the definition of 4 letters, RSVP, because I'm convinced nobody really knows what it means. But thank you very much, because this is like an overnight trip from North Adams to Lenox. So Representative Baer, thank you very much. Michael Fabrizio is here today. Michael is a Berkshire native. He now lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He's an award-winning singer-songwriter. He was here for our Traveling Vietnam Wall this summer, and actually just released a song that he performed that day called POW 23. And he mentions Berkshire County in it, which I'm extremely proud of. But Michael has agreed to come back here today, and he wrote a song just for today, and it's called Until Then. And I'd like to have Michael perform that for us right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Smitty, again for having me, and it's an honor to be here. This song is, it was hard to do even in my studio in Nashville, so I'm sorry if it's a little... Writing these letters makes us miss you more. We pray you're safe, a few tears soak the floor. You're fighting far away, where we never know. There's times we're alright, but all the time we want you home. We close our eyes, let the memories flood in. You by our side at all those family gatherings. We don't know when we'll see you, but we pray we'll see you again. So we'll just dream until then. Johnny's been acting more and more like you. We see it in his smile, and he laughs the way you do. We're reminded each day by every flag that flies. We're safe and we're free, and you're fighting to survive. We close our eyes, let the memories flood in. You by our side at all those family gatherings. We don't know when we'll see you, but we pray we'll see you again. So we just dream until then. Wish we knew these letters would be the last ones that you'd hold before a knock on the door, a flag to fold, a blue star turn to gold. We close our eyes, let the memories flood in. You by our side every day and everything. We don't know when we'll see you, but we know we'll see you again. So just dream, go on and dream until then. Until then. Thank you very much.
What's that saying? I'm not crying, you're crying. Michael, thank you very much. I've known the Fabrizio family for a long time, but never really got to know Michael until the last few months. But he is an amazing man who loves supporting our veterans, and I think that's another song you need to be releasing on iTunes right away. So download POW 23. It's really very good, and until then, thank you very much for joining us here today. Our next speaker is our Congressman Richard Neal. I have known Congressman since he was the mayor of Springfield. And our mutual friend Gene DeLea told him many, many years ago that someday you're going to be representing the Berkshires. And I personally think he's done a fantastic job. He never has ever hesitated anytime I've reached out to him or his staff to attend things in the Berkshires. He's one of those rare politicians that doesn't need a lot of fanfare or a big parade to come into town to help out people. He just does his job. You know, they talked about Congressman Olver as a workhorse, not a show horse. I would almost say that Congressman Richard Neal is an even better workhorse and maybe less of a show horse, but he's there for us here today. He's been for me there personally throughout my time in government as well. But Congressman Neal, thank you for joining us here today, and I welcome you aboard.
Thanks, Smitty, for that good and undeserved introduction, and to our Monsignor Bonzani and Rabbi Cohen, our really terrific Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll, to the local elected officials, the Gold Star families, and of course, General Driscoll, Bellevue Avenue in Springfield, I might add. Thanks to all of you who have so faithfully assembled this morning. The solemnity of this occasion and the beauty of the Berkshires going hand in hand. To Representative Pignatelli, I was cashing in this morning a gift from my grandchildren at the Brooks Brothers down at the mall. And the woman behind the counter, she said, "I thought that was you." You never know in these days. And she said, "Well, are you up for the dedication?" And I said, "I am." And she said, "I love Smitty Pignatelli." And I said, "We all do." And to the students that are here through Project 351, you can't ask young people to love something they don't know anything about. And democracy is worth the investment. And I call attention to that because their sacrifice for these families, it was about the defense of our institutions, not the defense of our personalities that govern. There's always going to be another election, understandably so. But remember this as well. Our First Amendment guarantees a second opinion, and they defended that principle. They were Democrats, they were Republicans, they were Libertarians, they may well have been socialists, who knows? Nobody asked. In a family like mine, two families, grandparents who were immigrants, 8 sons in those two families all had military service. Oftentimes, it occurs to me, through the science of DNA, when you read those stories, generations might have passed before they were able even to identify a loved one. Think of what it might have been for that Gold Star mother, who really never knew what happened, but knew that their child was not coming back. De Tocqueville called it habits of the heart, which set America apart from the rest of the world. And oftentimes, because of the office I have that looks over at the dome of the Capitol, as I did twice yesterday with foreign dignitaries that were visiting, I always take them out to take a look at the dome of that Capitol, which is in so many ways is symbol of the country, or the identifiable symbol of the country. I always will say to them, look over across the way where those two flags are flying, on those steps. That's where Mr. Lincoln stood on March 4th of 1865, after the worst moment in our history, the Civil War. 750,000 people died. The Confederacy was but 100 miles away. And the institutions of American governance never tested as much as they were during those almost 6 years. And Lincoln stood there and said, with malice toward none and charity for all. It makes a difference. It makes a difference who we elect, because they bring that memory and that cherished notion of what these Gold Star families defended. I'm going to close on this note. When Mr. Lincoln went to Gettysburg, in 2.5 minutes, he summed up the nation. What the founders had embraced, as the Lieutenant Governor noted, 250 years ago, whether it was Concord or Lexington or today, still across the globe, American presence. But on that occasion, Lincoln, as I noted, married the Declaration of Independence to the American Constitution. And he summed up with those words by suggesting, people aren't going to remember what was said here, but we always need to remember what was done here. Thank you from the United States of America.
Thank you very much, Congressman. You've been a dear friend for a long time, and I appreciate you being here today. Our final speaker is retired Brigadier General John Driscoll. To be very honest with you, I was focused on Lieutenant Governor and the Congressman, and I wasn't thinking about the National Guard necessarily, but he reached out to me, and I was very touched. We worked on a project a few years ago down in Sheffield with my good friend Paul O'Brien with the Mintz family, and you gave such an amazing speech then, and your belief and love and respect for veterans of all take really resonated with me. And I was extremely flattered when you reached out to say, can I come? And then when I said to him, do you mind saying a few words? He says, only if you want me to. He was another one of those people that didn't need to have a podium to speak, but I'm honored to have you here, and if you would honor us with a few words on behalf of the Massachusetts National Guard, I would appreciate that very much.
Well, good morning, Lieutenant Governor, Representative Neal, Representative Pignatelli, all the distinguished guests, and most importantly, to you, the audience. I am absolutely humbled and honored to be here today to be part of this great ceremony to honor the 600 names from the Berkshires that stand behind me in this beautiful monument. You being here today really truly represent the best in America. You're sharing your most precious resource today. That is your time, something we all have in common. My thanks for each of you for being here to understand that freedom is not free and is paid with America's blood and treasure. May I ask just our fellow veterans, my fellow veterans, can you just raise your hand? There you go, thank you. Thank you very much. And I know this applies to darn near everyone here, but if you are a family member, a loved one, a spouse, a sibling, can you just raise your hand for somebody in service? Thank you. Because without you, every veteran in uniform, to include our first responders, can't do what we do. When you put this uniform on and serve this great nation, there's a loved one standing with us, behind us, and supporting us all the way through. So thank you very much for that. And at least I'd like to welcome, she was very modest and didn't mention it, but the Lieutenant Governor, we just enlisted her son into the Massachusetts National Guard 2 months ago, ma'am. Another Driscoll, that's great, so can't go wrong there. But as I say, with Congressman Neal, he'll understand, we're all cousins when you go back far enough there, when you go back to Ireland, it's fine. So, but to the Gold Star families here today, you bear the enduring and immense cost for our liberty and freedom. This day, as with any birthday, holiday, is an acute reminder that your loved one is not here, and provides a solemn reminder that, again, freedom is not free. Standing in front of this beautiful monument, my first thought is one of remembrance and gratitude. Remembering all those who died in service to our nation, and so grateful to cherish the freedoms they gave us, and how each took an oath of office, took an oath to our Constitution to go forth and fight for the liberties enshrined in it. But this learning and appreciation of freedom and sacrifice comes from those who took the time to teach it. And again, that is why everyone here today represents truly what's best in America. Being a first-generation Irish American, my mom came here when she was 18 and always instilled in us how lucky I am to be an American. My dad, a second-generation immigrant, fought in Korea, and remember taking my brother, sister, and I to Wyoming Cemetery for every Memorial Day and Veterans Day in Melrose, Massachusetts, to teach to showing us by example that freedom is not free and it's not guaranteed. So if you are a parent here today with a child, whether you're 21 or 91, thank you. You are leading by example to ensure the flame of liberty is understood and will continue to burn bright for future generations. On this monument are America's sons and daughters, sons, spouses, relatives, friends, who all raised their right hand and swore an oath to the U.S. Constitution, as Representative Neal definitely reminding us about today. Each one of them made their life each made their life one of consequence in service to our nation, just as previous generations have done before. This oath is not just taken by the military, it's taken by all our elected officials, as well as people who serve this great Commonwealth. And no matter how old you get, when you raise your right hand to swear an oath, you never forget that moment. When you say you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and bear true faith and allegiance to the same. This fidelity to our former government ensures America and our values will always continue for future generations. Today, as polarizing as one thinks our country is, never give up and have faith in America. Because as Winston Churchill said, America will always do the right thing after it's tried everything else. Times may change, but human nature does not. The values in our Constitution binds us together, and we, the people, determine our future. Massachusetts, we can take pride in that our U.S. Constitution was based on our own state constitution, the longest functioning constitution in the Western Hemisphere since 1780. The brave women and men we honor today reminds us how lucky we are to be grateful to live in the land of the free. This yearning for freedom is part of human nature. In the age of AI and advanced technology, it is still the citizen who places the country above self and displays courage and character to raise their right hand and step forward to defend our American way of life. It is with this sense of purpose we come to remember those who made the utmost devotion to duty and the sacrifices of their families. I close with words from Thucydides, who wrote the Peloponnesian War 300 BC, which to me sums up today's ceremony. America's greatness was won by women and men with courage, with knowledge of their duty, and with a sense of honor and action. They gave their bodies to our Commonwealth and received, each for their own memory, praise that will never die. And within the grandest of sepulchres, not that in which their mortal remains are laid, but in the minds of citizens of a grateful nation, where their glory remains fresh to stir speech or to action. Thank you for the honor to be with you here today and to remember them and dedicate this monument to our Gold Star families with gratitude. May God bless you and America, land of the free, home of the brave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. I appreciate you reaching out to me and your beautiful words here today. I've been blessed every day with an amazing partner in my daily life, Elise Najimy, right here in the front row. She's become a poet, and she wrote a poem that's in the program here today. And I've asked a wonderful young woman, there again, the same Cater family that was very helpful to us here today and ended the Traveling Vietnam Wall this summer, and all of the banners, 100 banners that we have all throughout the town of Lenox honoring our soldiers. The Cater family stepped up in a big way. My brother Scott volunteered his time and services, but Charlie Cater, I've asked Charlie to come forward and recite this poem. Listen to the words, especially the Gold Star families, and I think you'll be touched as we were. So Charlie, come on forward. And when the poem is done, you can still stay seated, but then Jeff Stevens will perform taps.
This is The Stars That Never Fade by our friend Elise Najimy. They gave the light of all they had, a son, a daughter, dreams unclad. Your families bear the weight they left behind, with love that grief could never bind. Yet look above, each night they shine, in constellations redefined. Not lost but etched in heaven's dome, they found their peace, they found their home. To those who loved and let them go, whose lives now move both fast and slow, the moms and dads, the children grown, the spouses left to stand alone, the siblings who still feel the scar, you paid the price for every star. Gold Star hearts, so brave, so true, their stars still shine because of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Elise, stand up, Elise. Stand up. She's a poet for hire if anybody has any. Michael, we'll play taps. Thank you, Jeff. Please be seated. Michael Fabrizio, again, I asked him to perform a couple of songs, and we went back and forth a little bit, and he thought that his final song would be Chicken Fried. Now, I wasn't personally that familiar with Chicken Fried, but if you're a fan of the Zac Brown Band, he ends every one of his concerts playing Chicken Fried, and he brings military soldiers and veterans to the stage to perform. When you listen to the words, it started out kind of a little, I'll say honky-tonky type thing, but it ends beautifully. So I asked Michael to kind of adapt it a little bit, and I think Elise has become a poet. I've become a songwriter. But I've asked Michael to perform Chicken Fried in tribute to all of the families and the soldiers. So Michael, thank you again for all that you've done to make this day special.
Funny how the little things that makes me most that way you live, what you drive, or bastard on your road. No dollar sign, no peace of mind, beside the road. You agree that drink clean, your glasses for two little bit chicken fried. Cold beer on Friday night, their jeans they just right. The world like you love, love in a woman's eyes, you touch of precious light. Thank God for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly. Let it rain. Salute the ones who died, the ones who gave their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice the things we love. Like our chicken fried, cold beer on Friday night, their jeans they just right. Radio world, I see alright. Love in a woman's eyes, touch of precious time. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
The Zac Brown Band's got nothing on Michael Fabrizio. Michael, thank you very much. Before we retire the colors, I developed a greater fondness and appreciation for Gold Star families probably 12 or 13 years ago. I've been a great advocate for veterans. I'm named after my dad's best friend who grew up here in Lenox, and I still wear my father's dog tags from World War II every day as a constant reminder of service and sacrifice. But I'm named after my dad's best friend, but my dad never talked about Smitty growing up. Smitty was an only child. His father was actually superintendent of schools of Lenox many years ago. Sadly, parents had divorced. As many of you veteran families know, military records were lost in a horrible fire in St. Louis, and they've been trying to rebuild them for years. So my dad never knew where Smitty was buried. And after years of research, working with Congressman Neal and Congressman Over and Congressman Conti before, that's how long it took, I was able to find Smitty's gravesite in Milton, Massachusetts. And I remember it like it was yesterday. My sister Lisa and I, on a snowy day on a Saturday, we drove to Milton, Mass. And to see my dad at 82 years old at that time walk through the fresh fallen snow, just to touch Smitty's headstone, I saw a tremendous weight lifted off of my father's shoulders. After 62 years, he said something to us on the way home that has stuck with me ever since. Even after 62 years, the wound was not fresh, but the pain was still there. For all the Gold Star families that are here today, the wound may not be fresh, but the pain is still there, and it'll be with you for 40, 50, 60, 70 years and beyond. But I'm a firm believer that when we say their names, when we tell their stories of our fallen Berkshire heroes, they live forever. And that's what we have to do here today and tomorrow and for the next 100 years. As long as this memorial stays, I want all of those Berkshire County Gold Star families and all of the people from Berkshire County to know that we are there for you, we are there to support you, we're here to say, let us help you. So for all the Gold Star families, God bless you all. May God bless America. I can't thank you enough for this wonderful turnout here today. I was a little nervous yesterday when I woke up. It was very chilly, very overcast, felt like rain. And someone said, do you have a backup plan to go indoors? And I says, well, I can't move a 25,000-pound memorial indoors, so I did not have a backup plan. But the gold stars are shining down brightly on us today. And it would have also been my mom's 101st birthday today. I think I've got a lot of light on this day today, and I can't thank you enough. If I could ask you to rise, we're going to retire the colors. We have coffee and cookies and water. And if at the end, if you could help us, grab a chair, get it off the road. I can't thank the Lenox Police enough for the traffic control and shutting the traffic down on this very special day. Thank you all so very much. God bless you all, and God bless America. Thank you all very much.